Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan. And good morning to all you Tottenham fans out there. Hopefully today is a great day for every single one of you. Now, I have a very bold theory about Spurs' finish to the season that I do want to discuss with you guys. As you can see, the title of the video is Can Tottenham Make a Late Title Challenge? Now, I know some of you are going to say, David, you're absolutely deluded. Which, yeah, you could say is fair. But all I ask of you all is to hear me out. So let's get straight into it. Just quickly, please make sure you do leave a comment down below if you disagree or agree with what I have to say. And let's also try and get this video to 100 likes, especially if you enjoy it. Now, here is why Spurs can finish the season stronger than you might have originally thought. So we face 7 of the bottom 8 in the Premier League in our next 9 games. Now, what I'm going to do for you guys here is I am going to bring up Tottenham's fixtures. And as you can see, it starts with Leicester City this Saturday at 3 p.m. Now, with Leicester, half of their squad do not want to be there. And Brendan Rodgers also doesn't want half of them to be there. And we had a good showing against them earlier on in the season, slapping them up 5-2. So there's no reason why we can't beat them down at their place. Then you go into the West Ham game here. Look, quite simply, Tin Pot Club, small club, Irish Hotspur derby. It's one we cannot lose, and it's at home, so it's favourable towards us. Now, one of the tricky ones in the bunch, of course, is this Chelsea game. Now, look, with Chelsea at the minute, they're under Harry Houdini Potter. He is not doing a very good job right now, like I predicted. Doesn't even know his best 11. So if there is any chance of us breaking that Chelsea hoodoo, now is the time to go and do it. Then you go into Wolves away. Look, Lopetegui has them hard to beat, but again, it's a fixture we should be winning. Then you've got Nottingham Forest at home. Again, another team. I know they haven't lost in the last 5 Premier League games, but again, it is a team we should be beating. Then you've got Southampton, who, look, Jack calls them the weakest team in the league. I would argue they're the strongest team in the league because they're holding everybody up. But regardless, they're bottom of the pile, and we should be beating them. Then you've got Everton away on the 1st of April. Now, look, this one again for me, I think is going to be tricky. Sean Dyche's the new manager. We've seen Arsenal having the problems going there at the weekend, which was absolutely fantastic, by the way. But we will also face the same problems. But again, even if we just want to make top 4, it's a fixture you should be winning. Then you've got Brighton at home. Look, the new guy, the new manager there, he has them playing beautiful football, and they're capable of giant killings, as we've seen in the FA Cup with Liverpool. But we beat them down at the Amex earlier on this season when this guy was in charge, and there's no reason why we shouldn't beat them again at home. Although I will err on the side of caution, we did lose 1-0 in the run-in last season to them at home. Then you've got Bournemouth. Just should be beaten, quite simply. And Michael B. Jordan, don't waste your time. Stay at home because we're going to slap you. And then you go into the Newcastle game away. Now, look, even under our best football with Pochettino, we had troubles at St. James's Park. But again, you know, if you want to be top 4, you want to be title challengers, these are games that you do have to go and win. Now, look, you do got United and you do got Liverpool there, but we'll get into them another day. Right now, I'm taking our next 9 fixtures, and if we can get massive results out of a lot of them games, it puts us in a nice, tidy position for this United and this Liverpool game. And what I will say to you guys is a good sort of benchmark here is, so I've gone through the fixtures, and basically we face 7 of the bottom 8 in the Premier League in our next 9 games. And that's absolutely huge for us. If we can pick up maximum points against all of them teams, them 7 out of the bottom 8 of the Premier League, you would like to think automatically that puts us in a very strong position. And then, like I said, you've got the Brighton, the Chelsea, the Newcastle game thrown in there. But Brighton and Chelsea are both at home. So again, you know, I would favour and fancy us at home. Pick up results there, puts us in an even stronger position. Now, I ask you out there, can we go on a run like we did from mid-February last season onwards? Now, I think that City win, the 3-2 City win, was the catalyst for us towards the end of the season. I think it was the 19th of February last season, so a bit later than what we're at this stage now in February. And since then, from that City game all the way to the end of the season, out of the 16 game onwards last season, we only lost 3 games. And that's a very good run. You've obviously got Man United thrown in there. We lost that away 3-2. You would argue on another day, if they didn't have Ronaldo brilliance, we probably would have came away with 3 points. You got the Burnley one where we lost 1-0 away straight after the City game. Should never happen. And then you've got Brighton at home where we lost 1-0, where Eric Dyer turned his back on Trossard. But 3 games out of 16, I mean, that's a good record. If we can replicate that from now to the end of the season, it'll put us in a very strong position. And if you look at last season's run of fixtures from mid-February and compare them to this season's, I would argue that they are very similar. If not, this season's look easier from this point onwards. And going back to that United and Liverpool game, I wouldn't write them off either, because if you remember last season, I think we had, I think it was like City and Liverpool or something like that back to back, and we got results. So I wouldn't be writing them games off either. Now, here's why you should be optimistic. Kane is on fire, the record breaker, and his hair is looking absolutely pristine. I mean, I was watching the game on the couch against Man City, and I said to the missus, is there any wonder why I go on about Harry Kane's hair all the time? There's not even a strand out of place, and he's running around, there's crosswinds and everything. It's absolutely pristine. But look, back to the topic. Coming up to that Man City game, last season he only had 5 goals and 2 assists, compared to what he's got this season, 17 goals and 1 assist. And then from this period onwards last season, then Kane ended up going on and scoring a further 12 goals with 7 assists. If he can replicate that form from the back end of last season and this season as well, it gives us a real chance. Sonny is also going back into his best and is now helping us more consistently. And it looks like he is hitting his stride at the right time. And it's sort of role reversal from where we were at last season, right? Son hit the ground running, was brilliant, even had a good run in. And then Kane sort of came to the party around that February mark, middle of February mark. And this season, Kane has been hitting the ground and running. Son hasn't really on form. But he is starting to come into form again in and around the middle of February. Now, also at right wing back, last season we struggled against the likes of Burnley, Brighton, and we even drew with Brentford in that run-in as well, 0-0. We struggled because what they've done is they sat in, blocked up the middle and said, okay, take us one-on-one on the outside on the wing backs. We didn't do it. But we've now got Perisic one side. You also look at that. We brought in Pedro Porro, who will add a new dynamic going forward and help us against these defensive-minded teams, or these teams that maybe sit back in against us, and teams that are lower down at the table, like last season. Like I said, Brighton and Brentford, where we sort of kind of put a bit of a wedge in our run, which we don't want this season. So hopefully someone like a Porro one side and a Perisic the other side can help us over the line in them sort of tight games. And also, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to. Darren Davies was strong from February onwards last year. And they're looking better, a bit better recently. And if they can pick up the form again between now and the end of the season, again, it gives us a real chance. Now, an extra theory I have to support this whole original theory that you might think is a little crazy or makes perfect sense is everything Conte does in terms of fitness, strength, conditioning. In my opinion, I think it's all geared towards the business end of the season. I think, that everything he does, it's to sort of make us peak from February onwards, because a guy like Conte, experience, knows how to win trophies, knows the business end of the season is very, very important. And look, time will tell on my theory, but let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below about maybe the fitness regime, because if you look at February onwards last season, very solid, and hopefully this season can be the same. Of course, everything I have said does depend on us staying injury-free, also mistake-free, which is very, very important. But it also, of course, depends on the Arsenal messing up. But, how they might do it. Now, I'm going to bring you up the Arsenal fixtures here. And I had a look at them, by the way, and they're not easy. They're not easy. There's a lot of doubt in my mind when it comes to these. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans should be scared also. So just let me bring them up here for you guys. So when you look at the Arsenal fixtures, right, their fixtures start with Brentford this weekend. Now, as we know with Brentford, not an easy fixture for any Premier League team. Potential of a slip up. I will say Arsenal are at home and they are strong at home, but there's always that potential with Brentford. Then they go into a midweek game on Wednesday against City. Although City do have their issues, they're still in a title race and beat them easy enough in the FA Cup recently. Aston Villa, who is managed by former Arsenal manager Emery, I'm like to sure he will have a point to prove going there. And he's also made Aston Villa very tough to beat. Then they've got Everton again. Now, look, again, this one is on their home patch. I can't say the stadium. The Toilet Bowl, there you go, it is at the Toilet Bowl. But Sean Dyche already produced a masterclass against them. Can he repeat the same again? Then they've got Fulham away. Very tough fixture in the Premier League this season, playing some really good football. We went there and we found it very, very tough. Then they've got Palace at home, of course, managed by former Gunnar Vieira, who I have no doubt wants that Arsenal job someday. And, maybe he might want to beat them on the run-in, just like Arsenal bet them last season after an international break on the run-in. Then they've got Liverpool and West Ham, both away. Not going to be easy fixtures whatsoever. I would like to think by then Liverpool might have sort of hit some stride, which would be brilliant for us. And then also West Ham away, not going to be easy. And then they've got Man City, Chelsea, Brighton, and Newcastle as well, all back-to-back. And I'll repeat, Man City, Chelsea, Brighton, and Newcastle. And if you look at the Premier League now, they're all teams that are on form. So their running is not the easiest, but I would actually argue they've probably got their hardest running. And I think last season we ended up making up an 8-point deficit on them with less time to go. Why can't we make up that 11-point gap that separates us between where we are fifth in the table and they are first in the table? Why can't we do it? So, look, if we can win these games that we should be winning, this can catapult us into a very strong position come the business end of the Premier League, and anything can happen from there. So let me know in the comments, guys, do you think I'm crazy or do you think there's some method to my madness? Just quickly before I end off, I know some of you have been wondering, where's Dave? Where has he been? So I'm going to tell you. And look, I know I've been missing from time to time and some are confused why I have not been around. So let me explain briefly because I want to be transparent with all of you guys. It's only fair. Now, I have to see a doctor, a nurse as well for a condition that I do have that has been affecting me for the last 4+ years and has recently really gripped a hold of me. And I've recently started new treatment on that. Now, the treatment routine I have to go through is far more powerful, but hopefully effective. But it does take a toll on me. And it might put me out of streaming from time to time for a couple of days when I do undergo that treatment. But I have been assured the first one was going to be a kick in the bollocks. But after that, it should become an awful lot easier. So please, everyone, if you have noticed that I have been gone and are confused, please don't be alarmed or think I am off skiing in the Alps or something, because I am not. Unfortunately, this is something I do have to go through. I wish I wasn't going through it, but unfortunately, I do have to go through it, and I'd rather it be me than anybody else out there, to be honest with you, because I know at the end of the day, I will be able to get through it and be able to handle it. Now, I'm not saying this for sympathy. I've just simply seen a few people questioning where I have been. So hopefully that does explain it. I want to say quickly a massive thank you for all your support for Jacko, why I have been out. It's been absolutely tremendous. And guys, again, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on all of this, whether you agree, disagree, and let's try and get the stream to 100 likes. As bloody always, good day to start your day by doing this. Come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust. Everywhere we go.